Right, welcome back to your favorite pre-calculus course. We're going to take a look at dividing polynomials today. Let's go ahead and start with a property. A to the m over a to the n is a to the m minus n. For example, if you have 6 11s on the top and 4 on the bottom, then you're left with 2 on the top, right? In other words, you can just use the property that's 11 to the 6 minus 4, 11 squared, or 121. You could do it with variables. So here we'd have w to the 21 minus 6, or w to the 15. There's 21 on the top, 6 on the bottom. 6 of them cancel, leave you with 15 on the top. Let's do it with some numbers as well. 64 over 8 gives us 8. X to the 9 minus 3 gives us x to the 6th. Let's do it with multiple variables here. 40 over 8 gives us 5. X to the 2 minus x to the 1 on the bottom. And y to the 6 minus a y to the 1 on the bottom. So we have 5x to the 1, y to the 5th. Why don't you guys punch that next one in to the chat? Go ahead, have you check that first you try a problem. Pause if you need to. Here's that second one. 5x squared y to the 0. Anything 0 is 1. All right, let's go ahead now and let's divide by a monomial. So if you're dividing by x, what you can do is it's kind of like when we're taking 2/3 plus 1/3 is 2 plus 1 all over 3, right? Well, you can go backwards as well. You can use that common denominator. That's what we're going to use here. X is a common denominator of each of these. So I'm going to write that as 8x to the 3rd over x minus 5x squared over x plus x over x. 8x to the 3rd over x, that'd be 8x squared minus 5x plus 1. And that's how you divide by a monomial. Here's another one. Put it over that common denominator. Eight over 4 is 2. X to the 5 minus 2 is 3. Minus 4x squared plus 3. X squared over x is x to the 0, or 1. Now this one's x to the 3rd over x to the 3rd. Those cancel. Minus, I have 2 x's on the top, 1 on the bottom, so I have 1 over x. And plus 3 over x to the 3rd. And let's go ahead and have you guys try these two right here. Alright, go ahead and check those two you try problems there. Pause if you need to. And let's get into, so now we've divided by a monomial. Polynomial long division will allow us to divide by a binomial. So 2x squared plus 3x minus 35 divided by x plus 5, right? So it'll allow us to do things like that. And it uses what's called the division algorithm. And so the division algorithm, let's review the division algorithm by doing, let's do 178 divided by 3. So 178 is our dividend. We'll divide it by our divisor here is 3. So 178 divided by 3. Make sure you put the 178 in the box there. That's our dividend. If you forget, maybe here's your Vegas way to remember that. Person at the top of the list gets in the nightclub, right? Person at the bottom of the list is not in the nightclub. So anyways, that's kind of a funny way you can think about that. But let's go ahead and do the division here. Well, 1 is smaller than 3, so we're not going to go 3 into 1. We're going to go 3 into 17. We're trying to match 17. So 3 into 17 goes 5 times. And then we multiply. 5 times 3 is 15. And then we subtracted that. So 17 minus 15 is 2. And then we bring down the 8. And then we go 3 into 28. We try and match that 28. And if we don't match it, we go a little bit less than it. So don't go over it. So 3 times 9 is 27. Subtract that 27, and we have a remainder of 1. And so we say it's a quotient plus the remainder over the divisor. Remainder over divisor. But in this case, we just write it as a mixed number. 59 plus 1/3 is the same as 59 and 1/3. And that's what 178 over 3 is. It's 59 and a third. 59 and 1/3, right? Well, let's go ahead and do that same thing here with polynomials. Let's use the polynomial long division. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my 2x squared and make sure it goes down by degree as my dividend here, 2x squared plus 3x minus 35. We'll talk about what to do if it doesn't go put down by degree. Now I'm going to put x plus 5 as my divisor here. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to match that first term. I'm trying to match 2x squared. So I'm thinking to myself, what times x gives me 2x squared? And if you're not sure what that number is, then just take the 2x squared and divide it by the x, and it tells you it's 2x. So it's 2x. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 2x. I'm going to take the 2x and I'm going to multiply it by x plus 5. I'm going to do it one by one. Okay. So I'm going to go 2x times the x. So 2x times x gives me 2x squared. And then I'm going to go 2x times 5 gives me 10x. And then if you remember with the numbers, so we have this 2x squared plus 10x. We got to subtract this whole thing. Well, that'll change both of those signs. So what I like to do is I'll put the line under it and I say subtract the whole thing. So I change both of those signs. And now I go 2x squared minus 2x squared. That's gone. 3x minus 10x is a negative 7x. And then I bring down the next term, minus 35. Now I'm thinking to myself, what times x gives me negative 7x? And if you're not sure, just take the negative 7x and divide it by x. That tells you negative 7 is what you need right there. So let's go ahead and multiply. So now I go negative 7 times x gives me negative 7x. And negative 7 times 5, negative 35. And then don't forget you got to change these signs because I'm subtracting that whole binomial. So change and change. And that's gone. Negative 7x plus 7x. By the way, that first term should always be gone or you did something wrong. And then let's see what our remainder is. Negative 35 plus 35. Oh, no remainder. No remainder. So it looks like 2x squared plus 3x minus 35 divided by x plus 5 is just the quotient. Quotient because there's no remainder here. There's running through that one. And let's go ahead and have you guys work that next you try it problem there. Megan's got this perfectly done. So she put her dividend in there. Notice it goes down by degree. She's matching 9x cubed. So she went 3x squared first. 3x squared times 3x is 9x to the third. 3x squared times negative 5, negative 15x squared. Don't forget you got to change those signs. So negative 6x squared plus 15x squared gives you 9x squared. Bring down the minus 6x. Now you're matching 9x squared. So what times 3x gives you 9x squared? It's got to be 3x. Now let's multiply it through. 3x times 3x, 9x squared. 3x times negative 5, negative 15x. Don't forget you got to change those signs. Negative 6x plus 15x is 9x. Bring down the minus 14. Now we're matching 9x, so it's got to be plus 3. 3 times 3x is 9x. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. Don't forget to change those signs, so you're left with a remainder of 1. And that's how she got remainder over divisor. go ahead and do this one together real quick. I got 3x to the 4th, 18x cubed. Notice there's 0x squared, so I'll put a placeholder in, minus 3x plus 40. We're dividing this all by x plus 7. So first term's got to be 3x to the 3rd. We're going to multiply it through. 3x to the 3rd times x, 3x to the 4th, 3x to the 3rd times 7, 21x to the 3rd. We're going to change those signs. So we end up with negative 3x to the 3rd, bring down the 0x squared. Now we're matching negative 3x to the 3rd, so minus 3x squared. Multiply it through. Negative 3x to the 3rd, negative 3x squared times 7, negative 21x squared. Don't forget you got to change those signs. So that'll cancel. 0x squared plus 21x squared is 21x squared. Bring down the minus 3x. Now we're matching 21x squared. So in this case, it's got to be 21x. Multiply it through. 21x squared, 21 times 7, 147. Don't forget you got to change those signs. So negative 3 minus 147, that's minus 150x plus 40. Now I'm matching the 150, negative 150, so I'm going to multiply by negative 150. Negative 150 times x, negative 150x. 150 times 7, I'm not sure what that is. 1050, so minus 1050. Change those signs. It looks like it's 1090 is the remainder. So our answer is the quotient plus the remainder over the divisor. Okay. Synthetic division is just an alternate to long division. It's not as powerful as long division. Long division, you can divide anything you want. But with synthetic division, it's a shortcut method. As long as you're dividing by whatever your polynomial is, you're dividing by something of the form x minus k. Okay, and if you're dividing by a binomial, it has to be in that form. K is a real number. It has to be in that form. Then you can use this shortcut method, right? So the first thing you do is you identify a k. So I'm dividing by x minus k. So in this case, my k would be, think of this as, instead of x plus 2, think of it as x minus negative 2. That's the same thing as x plus 2. So my k is negative 2. And then what I do is I put my coefficients of my dividend along this top row. So see how I have a x cubed? So I have a 1x cubed, 1, then negative 7, then negative 13, and then the constant on the end. And if you don't have something, then you got to put a 0 in. And then right here, I'm going to put a little space there at the bottom right. That's for my remainder. So here's the algorithm involved with this, okay? What you do is you drop the 1 down, and then you take the 1 and you multiply by negative 2. So 1 times negative 2 is negative 2, and you put it right there. And then you go negative 7 minus 2 is negative 9. And then you multiply it through. Negative 9 times negative 2 is 18. Negative 13 plus 18 is 5. And now 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. And 15 minus 10 is 5. Oh, shoot. I'm having Wi-Fi issues. All right, there we go. We good? You guys hear me now?
We can.
And that 5, 15 minus 10 is a 5. That's our remainder. Okay, so these are the, right here, the coefficients of our quotient. So our answer is 1, and it's 1 degree less than we started with the dividend. So it's x squared. And then minus 9x, and then plus 5. And this is our remainder right there. So plus remainder over our divisor, which was x plus 2. So again, x squared minus 9x plus 5 over x plus 2, right? So if you were to do long division with this whole thing, and if you were to take x to the third minus 7x squared minus 13x plus 15, you were actually divided by x plus 2, what you'd get is that, and then down here you'd have this remainder of 5. You'd get the x squared minus 9x plus 5 over x plus 2. You'd get the same thing. Okay, so again, synthetic division is a nice shortcut method, but you can only do it when you're dividing by something of the form x minus k. So in this case, what would your k be? K would be 3. I put the 3 in the box, and then I have it go down by degree. Now this is not in standard form. This should be written as x to the 4th minus 2x to the 3rd plus 3x squared. Notice there's no x, so 0x, and then the minus 4. So I'm going to use those coefficients. 1, negative 2, 3, 0, negative 4. And let me get that stuff out of the way. And my remainder is going to be in that box there in the bottom right. So the algorithm is you drop that down, 1, drop that down, then you multiply 1 times 3 gives us 3. Negative 2 plus the 3 gives us 1. 1 times 3 gives us 3. 3 plus 3, 6. 6 times k, which is 3, 18. 0 plus 18, 18. 18 times 3, what's that, 54? Negative 4 plus 54, 50. And these are the coefficients of my quotient. So it's 1 degree less than I started with. X to the 3rd plus 1x squared plus 6x plus 18 plus, here's my remainder, 50 over my divisor, x minus 3. And I don't need the 1s, of course. I can leave the 1 because, whoops, the 1's off. We don't need to write the 1s. All right, this one we've got, let's identify k, x minus 2. So our k is 2. And the coefficients of our dividend, notice it is 2x to the 5th. So 2, there's no x to the 4th term, so it'll be 2, 0. There is an x to the 3rd term. There's no x squared term, minus 14x, and there's no constant. So I'll have 2, 0, negative 6. Let me write those. 2, 0, negative 6, 0, negative 14, and a 0 constant on the end. Make a little box in the bottom right for my remainder. And I'm going to drop the 2 down. 2. Now multiply 2 times the k. 2 times 2, 4. 0 plus 4. Multiply that by k. 4 times 2 is 8. Negative 6 plus 8, 2. 2 times 2, 4. 0 plus 4. 4 times 2. Negative 14 plus 8. Negative 6 times 2, 0 minus 12. Looks like our remainder is negative 12. So it's 2, 1 degree less than the dividend. It was x to the 5th in the dividend, so it'll be x to the 4th. 4x cubed, 2x squared, 4x minus 6 plus remainder over divisor. Why don't you guys go ahead and try that next one. Go ahead and check yourself on that one. Pause that if you need to. And let's go ahead and do this last one together. We're again dividing by anything of the form x minus k. So 1 is our k. And it goes negative 9x to the 4th, 10x cubed, 7x squared, no x, so put a 0 in, and then a constant minus 6 on the end. Drop the negative 9 down, multiply by 1. 10 minus 9 is 1. 1 times 1. 7 plus 1. 8 times 1. 0 plus 8. 8 times 1. Negative 6 plus 8, 2. So -9, 1 degree less. I started with x to the 4, so it'll be x to the 3rd, 1x squared, 8x plus 8, plus that remainder right there in the box over our divisor. Thanks for taking notes. See you next time.